I'm Kelly. Today, I'm going to share 2 strange stories that happened in the real world. The first took place deep in the jungles of Singapore, where a soldier at 3 a.m. encountered a buddy who shouldn't have been there at all. The second happened on a mountain road in Taiwan. A young man, out for a late-night drive, stumbled upon a forgotten suspension bridge. But when he returned a few days later, the entire road was gone, like it had never existed. Sometimes you think you've simply taken a wrong turn, but maybe, just maybe, you've stepped into someone else's world. This happened when I was serving in the army in Singapore. It was around my 3rd month of enlistment, and we were about to begin our week-long jungle survival training. As you can imagine, jungle training was no joke. It was exhausting, both mentally and physically. When we finally completed the training for the day, we quickly cleaned ourselves up and went straight to bed. In the Singapore military, there's a buddy system. Every soldier is assigned a partner to look out for each other, or perhaps to keep an eye on each other. Because of the intense training during the day, everyone was in a deep sleep. I was no exception. Until around 3 a.m., my buddy suddenly shook me awake. He said he needed to use the bathroom. Our instructor had made it clear. No one was allowed to go alone, not even to the toilet. You always had to bring your buddy. Being woken up at 3 a.m., right in the middle of deep sleep, felt like being force rebooted. Groggy and half-conscious, I got up and followed him. But the moment we stepped outside, the cool wind hit my face, and I started to wake up. And then I remembered something. My buddy had been sent home halfway through jungle training because he got sick. He wasn't even here. I stared at the back of the person walking in front of me. I was certain that was not my buddy. He shouldn't be here. So then, who was this? My palms were sweaty. I tried to stay calm and said, I'm really tired. I think I'll just go back to sleep. It was a weak excuse, I know, but it was the only thing I could think of. I didn't even realize my voice was trembling. In my head, I was just repeating one sentence over and over. He's not real. 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 And then, it was like he could hear my thoughts. He turned to me with this eerie smile and asked, "Are you really tired? Or did you already know?" I bolted, ran straight back to bed, and pulled the blanket over my head. That person never appeared again. Not once. Even after the jungle training ended, I never saw him again. To this day, I still wonder, was that just a dream? Or did it really happen? This happened back when I was in college. I used to love riding my scooter at night, sometimes into the mountains, sometimes by the sea. I often rode alone, and once in a while, I'd just pick a new road I hadn't explored yet. That habit led me to this story. There was a spot in Dak Hang I often visited for the night view. On this particular night, I was planning to go there, just like usual. The ride up was normal, nothing strange. Just before reaching the final turn, where I'd usually take a left and head uphill through the residential area, I suddenly had this thought. Why not try turning right today? That idea didn't feel weird at the time. I often let myself explore random roads on a whim. So, with a curious heart, I turned right onto a smaller road. To my left was a slope of trees. To my right, a narrow drainage ditch. No other cars, no people, just me. I kept going straight, thinking it would be easy to find my way back if I didn't make too many turns. The road began to change, from asphalt to concrete, then from concrete to gravel, and finally into a rough mix of dirt and rocks. At that point, the road was only wide enough for a single scooter. There wasn't really enough space to turn around, so I kept riding forward. The streetlights grew fewer and dimmer until I was relying entirely on my scooter's headlight. Trees and bamboo lined both sides, and I could hear running water from time to time. No guardrails in sight. I kept riding. Then, up ahead, I saw a dim streetlight shining down on what looked like a small clearing. A good place to turn around, I thought. But as I approached, I realized there was an old suspension bridge right there under the streetlight. 2 wooden pillars stood at the entrance, their red paint chipped and faded. Above them was an old wooden sign, worn down by time. The text was unreadable, except for the last character, bridge. The bridge itself looked ancient, made of loosely fitted wooden planks that didn't seem stable at all. Maybe it was the lack of adventure earlier that made me so intrigued by it. The streetlight overhead was weak and flickering, so I tried shining my scooter's headlight across the bridge, but it didn't help much. The other side of the bridge was swallowed by darkness. Then a thought crossed my mind. Should I walk across and see where it goes? I almost did. But then, like waking up from a trance, I suddenly realized how reckless that would be. I couldn't see the end, couldn't even see below the bridge. And my fear of heights kicked in hard. Just like that, I gave up the idea. I decided I'd come back during the day when I could actually see. So I turned my scooter around and headed home. That night, nothing else happened. I made it home safely. But a few days later, on a quiet morning, I suddenly thought of that mysterious bridge again. So I rode back to the same area, same turn, same route. But after a certain point, the scenery started feeling off. The trees, the slope, the path, they all looked different. I thought maybe it was just the difference between night and day. So I kept riding. But the road stayed normal. Fully paved asphalt the whole way. No gravel, no dirt, no bamboo forest, no sounds of water, and no bridge. That path, the one I clearly remembered, was just gone. Whenever I tell my friends this story, they always ask if I accidentally wandered into a different dimension that night. Same road, but I saw something no one else ever has. And they all say the same thing. Good thing you didn't cross that bridge. Otherwise, we might have seen you on the news as the next person who went missing in the mountains. Looking back, I can't believe how calm I was that night. Not scared, not even suspicious. I didn't feel like anything was wrong until I realized I'd seen something that might not belong in this world. So, if it were you, would you cross that bridge? Or would you turn back and pretend nothing ever happened? Leave a comment below. Maybe something's still watching from the shadows. Thanks for staying with me till the end. Let the story follow you into your dreams. And if it knocks on your door, don't answer. If you want to see my videos faster, please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates.